Hello, everyone. Welcome into the TexAgs Rewind. Baseball season a few days away. We're going to get into a little baseball on this show. By the way, it's presented by Specs in the Rollo Insurance Studio. But a little gift I got from Aggie Baseball, Chuck Knobloch autograph picture with some of his accolades here at Texas A&M. How about that? And, it's going to fall. Don't fall. And everybody's a little jealous. This early baseball hat. This is definitely going to be a collector's item. I'm going to be wearing it. Nick, favorite part of the show?
Seth Greenberg.
Yeah, he was excellent. Yeah, he was. Reed, your favorite part of the show?
I like Josh Pate.
Yeah, I knew you were going to like him. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I figured. You seem like a Josh Pate kind of guy.
I don't know. Is that a compliment?
Yeah, we all are.
Okay.
All of us are Josh Pate guys. We also had, I like John Scheschuk. I'm sorry. I mean, I like Aggie own, right? So I like Charean Williams, another Aggie. Who else? Anybody else I like? I like OB and Billy.
OB.
Everybody. OB's always good.
I like OB.
That and more is the Rewind. Check it.
All right, Charean, who's going to win the Super Bowl and why? You are the expert.
Oh, yeah, well, yeah, don't trust me on that. In the playoffs, I always say take the home team. Obviously, we don't have a home team here, so I can't just say take the home team. It's really hard to bet against the Chiefs, as we all know. I'm getting ready to go to the Chiefs right now, and then the Eagles after that. Do some interview sessions today. But it's hard to bet against the Chiefs just with what they've done, being in these critical situations. They have the best quarterback and the best coach in the NFL. But I'll say this, I think the Eagles have the better talent. If you just take talent they're both talented, but if you just take talent for talent and then the depth, I think the Eagles have the better team, but the Chiefs had the better quarterback and the better coach. I'm going to pick the Eagles. So if you're betting, I would definitely bet on the Chiefs just because I say the Eagles because I'm never right on these things. So, but I'm going to pick the Eagles, and maybe it's just my hope that they don't three-peat, that we get somebody different. This is my 30th Super Bowl to attend, to cover. And it's probably the least excited I've been for a Super Bowl, just for the two teams. So I am hoping that it's just a good game, and I think it will be. And I think when we get to that, I'll be excited to see a good game. But just there's neither team I want to win and neither team I really want to lose. So yeah, I'm kind of conflicted on this one and not just real fired up about seeing these two teams. I was kind of hoping for the Commanders and the Bills, and when it got to that round, and of course I wanted the Lions when the playoffs first started.
And I was in the building on Friday, and I was in the vicinity of his office. I wasn't even supposed to be talking to him. I wasn't meeting with him or anything. I was just in the building saying hey to folks. He walks out. We talked for a little while, and like the first sentiment was, man, I cannot wait until we get to a point where this thing makes sense again, where the structure of the sport makes sense again. Where it's about evaluating, getting them, and developing them, and not looking over your shoulder. And Brian Kelly is just saying the same thing everyone else is. The difference is most places don't have the expectation level that LSU has, because most of their fans haven't seen every one of their head coaches win a national championship since basically, the turn of the millennium. They've seen every one of them win at least a championship. So, yeah, I think he feels pressure, not in a sense that he's scared. I think the thing that's worse than fear is this uncertainty. Like, you do not, as you guys know, as everyone watching knows, you don't handle portal guys like you do high school. You don't have multi-year relationships with those guys. In some cases, you haven't even met them before they commit, sign on the dotted line, whatever. So, think about what a crapshoot that is when your livelihood, career, reputation, whatever's on the line, and you just got to spin the roulette wheel. It used to be, it's always a gamble. There's no sure thing, but man, you can stack the odds in your favor back in the day in traditional recruiting. Now and into the immediate future, it's I hope. I mean, how can you even know what your team is coming out of spring? How can you even know what your team is beginning in fall camp? I will never, ever, ever forget this. Last year, remember your top 10, right? And Florida State was in most people's top 10, if not top 15. And they were in the top 15 if you were low on them. Everyone else had them in the top 10. Yeah. And I'm listening to NFL scouts go in their camp, and they're saying, this is one of the more talented teams that we've seen. Nick Saban goes out there and watches them practice, goes on TV. Yeah, I think that team's right there. I think they may contend for a championship. So It wasn't that they were all lying to us, guys. It was that there's a big difference between collections of ingredients and a meal. There's a big difference between individual pieces and a team. Like when you try and pull apart and it doesn't, that's what a team is.
There's one other pitcher I want to talk about real quick, too, and that's Isaac Morton. I keep hearing about his stuff, and I'm curious to see him with the post-Schloss effect. I know there was a lot of fear in those pitchers with the way Schloss managed. Schloss was really tough on him and just pounded him. And I'm excited to see a guy like Morton who can maybe breathe a little bit and let that stuff take over. I think he's another guy on the mound that could potentially do some great things for the Aggies and, help solidify that bullpen and help solidify that pitching room from not only a leadership perspective as a returner, but from a stuff perspective as well.
We're a little bit of what I guess 9-10 days away from the beginning of the season. Elon coming to town. Just this team's going to win early series. I fully expect that. But how important is it for guys to not put too much pressure themselves early on, just to let the baseball come to them? If I probably need to use a better term than that, but just let the season kind of unwind and not press too much early on.
That's exactly right. I mean, it's just a pitch-by-pitch, present focus. And that's going to be very difficult to do with the expectations. But, with a team like Elon, they're going to have them so what I'll call out-rostered that they're going to win those games. But when that first loss comes, and let's hope it's not for a while, heck, let's hope it's not forever. But when it comes, I think some of that pressure will be relieved. I remember years ago, A&M got out of the stretch with a huge win streak. I think it was 25 or 6 games. This is many years ago. And you can just sort of feel that pressure mount. So when that first loss comes and they can breathe a little bit, I think they'll really settle in and start to play. And it's going to be exciting. It is going to be an exciting year with the best Aggie baseball team I've ever seen on paper, and it'll be exciting to see that come to fruition.
Well, happy to have you here on the program. I want to start off with A&M and the job Buzz Williams has done. For a team that struggles offensively at times, they sure have an identity of just playing all out defensively, offensive rebounding, you name it. What are your thoughts on A&M and how you see them going throughout the season?
I actually love the way they play. I can relate to it because I think it's a little bit like my Virginia Tech teams played. They have an identity. They impose their identity on the game, and that's really the essence of winning. The team that has the ability to impose their identity on the game. They impact the game defensively. They make you feel uncomfortable. I always say there's certain teams that are teams you don't want to play against because the preparation is one thing, but then in real life you can't simulate what they do in your preparation. And to me, A&M is one of those teams. You can't simulate the way they go after the glass. You can't simulate their ability to switch and get into people. You can't simulate their physicality, their depth, their toughness. So, when I look at A&M, I look at a team, they're a team that other people just don't like to play against, and they can come out in waves. So they wear you down. They literally wear you down physically and emotionally because once you make those mistakes, they take advantage of them.
How has Buzz Williams evolved from his days there at Marquette to Virginia Tech, now to A&M? Just what have you seen his coaching style evolve? Where have you seen it evolve?
It was surely a hell of a lot better dressed. I mean, goodness gracious, why is he sweating through all those nice suits? I mean, if you're going to sweat as much as you do, as he does, I'm surprised he doesn't go with the quarter zip. At least you just throw that in the wash and you're good to go. But no, I think Buzz is involved in terms of, I call him the great philosopher, Buzz Williams. You got to watch those videotapes. I mean, he and Aristotle and Socrates, I think they were all together hanging out. But, as a coach, I think, one, he connects with his players. I mean, the ability, you don't play as hard as his teams play unless you connect with your players. They've got to play for you, and that's a gift.
Why don't you close it out for us?
All right, guys, make sure to like and subscribe on YouTube. Make sure to text during the show to the zone. Makes my job a lot easier. And just any form of communication, YouTube comment section, tweet. TexAgs Live is on the TexAgs website. You can comment there as well. So,
are you reading that, or do you know that?
Know what?
What to say?
No,
you just know.
Yeah.
Because you're Gen X or not Gen X. What's your generation?
I don't.
What's the new generation? Come on, Zach. You don't know either. You guys don't know what generation you are?
I mean, I want to say Z, but I think that might be the one under me.
Z? I'm Gen X. Nick, what are you?
No idea.
How do you guys not know? This was a
idea.
thing when I was growing up. Everybody knew what generation. Hey, baby boomer, Generation X, Generation Y. You guys don't know? I want people to comment.
Generation Z. I'm Generation Z.
All right. I want people to comment what generation they're part of. I want to see, at least on the YouTube side of things, where our viewers skew. Are you on the old side or are you on the young side? We'll see you next time.